That's more like it. You know how you know this is a great day? Because all the politicians are out. And what cameras are to politicians, candy is to children. I just thought I'd be a little bit down on us. You know, I'm gonna use my prerogative to invite Kristen Miller out here, because a lot of us government folks are out here, but it was the chambers who also stepped up and really did a lot to get this type of project and the funding for this project off the ground. So I wanted to make sure she was included up here as well. Good morning to everyone. It is great that we're celebrating this extraordinary accomplishment for the Carpinteria region. It includes a carpool lane, which we're focusing on today, but it's really the completion of the entire segment. And the residents of the region have had to endure emissions, traffic, an extraordinary investment in fuel, and today we're going to start reducing those negative impacts that they have been living with for so many years. So let's hear it for the residents of Carpinteria and the region who've been patient during this entire construction period. I want to start by thanking Margie Kern and the rest of SBCAG, all my colleagues behind here that sit on SBCAG, as well as our state representatives, our state CTC executive director who is here, and all the staff who played an amazing role in making sure that we build out this entire corridor, but this specific segment was built on time and within the budget that was allocated. I'd also like to recognize that in addition to the elected officials, all of you out in the audience. Many of you represent so many organizations, our CHP, who day in and day out work to keep everyone safe during this challenging construction period. And many of you belong to so many organizations that have been supportive and have been a part of this solution. As a former county supervisor, I can tell you that it's been challenging making the progress that we've made on this 101 multimodal corridor project. But we've been able to do it because we work together. And oftentimes, in many communities, you have a lot of turf issues. And here, for some reason, we've been able to come together. Once this is fully complete, it will greatly improve the quality of life for many of our residents, businesses, and visitors traveling in and out of Santa Barbara. And with the opening of the peak period carpool lane in Carpinteria, this brings us closer to that goal. This innovative carpool lane not only reduces congestion, but encourages ride sharing, which will lessen emissions and help commuters save money at the pump. However, to see the full benefits of the carpool lane, the remaining segments of the Highway Project 101 must be completed. Yes, one more big segment, which will first require additional investments from the federal government, the state government, and of course, our local communities. Fortunately, in Congress, my colleagues and I were finally able to get our heads together in a bipartisan way. Did I say bipartisan? And we secured some important financing opportunities that could offer support in the future. As a member of the Transportation and Infrastructure Subcommittee, I am proud that our work led to the passing of the bipartisan infrastructure law of $1.2 trillion of investments. The bipartisan infrastructure law, yes, will provide federal investments in our roads, highways, bridges, along with other areas like public transit, where's MTD, broadband, water infrastructure to address drought, and fire prevention. California specifically is expected to receive $4.86 billion in federal highway formula funds, as well as $575 million in new bridge repair funding alone this year. On top of that, the bipartisan infrastructure law includes a significant number of new existing federal grant programs that counties, cities, and other municipalities can apply for, with an additional 50 programs that will be stood up. These funding opportunities will be key for helping advance Highway 101 and ultimately providing relief to commuters stuck in traffic day after day. I am proud to have been part of securing funds for our nation's infrastructure, and I'm hopeful that our community will greatly benefit from these investments. Not to mention jobs, 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 good for our economy. In conclusion, again, I would like to thank Margie Kern for shepherding SBCAG, her and her team and her staff. Somebody has to do it, and she does it well. Congratulations to all of us, all of you, the City of Carpinteria, our communities, for making this project come to fruition. And next, I want to introduce somebody who's received a lot of federal money. Maybe she'll tell you a little bit about it. Representing MTD, Hillary Blackerby.
Thank you, Congressman. And thanks for highlighting the importance of transit. So as the Planning and Marketing Manager at Santa Barbara MTD, I see every day how impactful transit can be for our local workers and families. Connecting people to opportunity while reducing emissions is what transit does best. The new carpool lanes that we're opening today will improve the ability of transit buses and their riders to move through the area more efficiently. You know, thousands of people a month travel through this section of 101 aboard Coastal Express here, which is a joint service of SBCAG and the Ventura County Transportation Commission, and it's partially funded by our local Measure A dollars. At MTD, seen over there, we carry millions of riders a year while connecting the communities on the South Coast, and we intend to launch a new express service connecting Carpinteria, Santa Barbara's East Side, and Santa Barbara City College, which will be able to use this new HOV lane. And of course, we have plans to serve this corridor with zero-emission buses in the future. And now, handing it over to someone who shares our desire for improved transit and sustainable communities, Senator Monique Limo. Thank you, Hillary, and thank you all for being here. In 2017, our community came together. All of the local cities and governments you see here, all of our chambers, because we had more than one at a time, and all of our transportation agencies. Thank you, Congress member. Always looking out for his constituents. And all of the transportation agencies came together to do something, which is to pass Senate Bill 1, SB 1. That little sign you see behind all of us is part of the reason that we are here. And sometimes, although that was 5 years ago, we don't always see what happens in the legislature. This is our opportunity to see what those investments are getting us. And not only are we seeing this by doing a ribbon cutting and showing you all today, but also our constituents are going to feel the difference. Everyday constituents have to use our freeway to get to and from work, to get to and from school, to get to and from their doctor's appointments, to commute to see their relatives, will be able to experience what a carpool lane opening feels like. And that to us is important. So I want to remind us all that although we make these investments and sometimes we don't immediately see them, this transportation investment is one we want to show off to you. It's one that allowed all of us to come together. All of us said yes to investing in our infrastructure. All of us said yes to ensuring that we have a commute that doesn't just have cars sitting there, because we know the impact that has on our community, on our time, on our health more than anything. So I'm grateful to be here as a representative. I know Assemblymember Bennett is also part of the team in Sacramento that are looking out for how we can do better, how we can improve the quality of life of the constituents we represent. So thank you very much to all of you here. Thanks Caltrans, CHB, California Transportation Commission, SBCAG that is talking to us regularly as representatives, and all of you for ensuring that your voice was heard when we're making these decisions. And with that, I'd like to welcome Mitch Weiss, Executive Director of the California Transportation Commission, to say a few words.
For the money, Mitch. My pleasure. I'm really happy to be here. Mitch Weiss, Executive Director of the Transportation Commission. We did provide $184 million for the first three segments of the 101 Carpinteria to Santa Barbara project, including this segment. As the Senator mentioned, these funds were available because of Senate Bill 1, which passed in 2017. The legislature and the governor increased our gas taxes. It was the first time that had been done in almost a quarter century. And then more importantly, later in the year, we, the voters of California, voted to keep that tax. And so that allowed this critical project, other critical projects throughout the state to get built. So I think I want you to give yourselves a hand for doing that. These carpool lanes will make our roads more efficient. They encourage us to carpool, to use transit, and to buy electric vehicles. They're an important part of our sustainable transportation future. This project, along with the two remaining segments of Montecito and Santa Barbara, combine highway improvement, transit and rideshare, bike and pedestrian improvements to make our communities better, to make our lives better, and to help us meet our climate goals. I really want to thank everybody who's partnered to do this. The commission just sits up in Sacramento and writes a check, but it's the contractors who are doing work. It's Caltrans, it's SB CAG who's leading it. Particularly want to thank Margie Sarkis Kocek, who's been a great partner with the commission. And with that, I want to turn it over to Tim Govins from Caltrans, the District 5 board.
All right, thank you, Mitch. And I'd like to thank all the speakers that have come before me so far. They've really highlighted the importance of this project, the importance of this corridor. And they've already told you what the elements are and how the community is going to benefit from this. It's really great. But as I look out over the audience, I see some people that literally we've been working together on this for decades. It's been a few decades that we've been doing this, and I don't think I'll be able to thank everybody who's been involved. But just looking at it, I want to mention some of the Caltrans people who helped bring us to completion, who helped in the last couple of years bring us over that finish line. In Caltrans project management, Joe Irwin and Dave Emerson. In construction, I have Jason Klein, Taylor Merlo. Our structures construction, Andy Gill, Ray Barajas, Bernardo Mendes. And I don't want to forget our construction partners, Granite, with Bill McGowan and John Valentine. I have a whole group of designers here, led by Wes Thompson. My right-of-way people and the utilities they're doing with David Sutherman. Landscape architects, as you can see some of the aesthetics that we have in the corridor. Laura Beard and Joe Arnold worked very hard on this. And our traffic safety folks to make sure that it's done the right way. Roger Barnes, Kelly Holden. Again, the list could go on. And for those of you who might think I'm exaggerating, as I just looked out and made eye contact, I do think it's been close to 30 years we've been working for this. The last decade's been we've gained momentum as it went. And so needing the funding, needing the partnership, needing the community to come together, it's just been great. But of course, as I said, Caltrans didn't do it alone. Because of those wonderful partners, we're able to bring this. And that's at the local level and everywhere else. And so I'd like to introduce again SBCAG Chair Toss Williams, who will round out some of that local involvement.
Thanks, Tim. I'll close out today just by giving you the perspective. Those of you that lived here 20 or 30 years ago know that there were a lot of people in this community who thought this day would never happen. And that's because, we are in a constant process of trying to wrestle with our own values. And so what this project represents is moving forward on mobility, the community's desire to move forward on mobility and still make progress on our environmental values. And so this carpool lane is a testament to that. It will create an extended vision, right? We're not just putting those buses behind us because they're really good to look at. We're putting them behind us because this corridor, as that carpool lane gets extended, is going to make transit, electric vehicles, and carpooling much faster than single lane occupancy vehicles in the commute. It's already a fast service. It already it's financially goes great. It's not just Ventura bus. We pay for half, right? This is a Santa Barbara bus. Santa Barbara County Bus. So, and there's both services. MTD Line 20 is a great service, very affordable way to get to town. The Coastal Express, slightly more expensive, but a very fast service, and you can put a surfboard or a bike on it very easily. And I think we should talk about it because today is Dump the Pump Day. It's never been a more attractive time to consider transit or electric vehicle as an alternative. We also look to extend that vision, right? We look at this as a multimodal corridor, a corridor where the train and lane, where bike path improvements happen. That's a real benefit to us that live in Carpinteria. We endured a lot of construction. I live on Napomo, so I was 6 years of pile drivers and grinders, but it's cool. It's for the greater good. And what the result will be is easier to walk, easier to bike, easier to bus, and easier to carpool and take electric vehicles, and even easier to take a single occupancy one as the corridor improves. We also envision electric vehicle charging stations along that corridor and a connectivity to Padaro and other parts of our own community. So how did something so momentous happen, right? We talked a little bit about the legislative role of our legislative delegation and SBCAG, but this is a result of direct democracy. This is a result of your decisions. This isn't just our project. This is your project. 2 pieces of direct democracy. In 2008, nearly 80% of you approved Measure A, the half-cent transportation sales tax. And then the statewide sales tax, gas tax was approved by the voters too. That is why we're seeing more work than ever before, not just on freeways, but on streets and roads. So you should give yourself a round of applause and having some vision and willing to pay for what you need. So let's. So I want to thank some people that were instrumental in your project getting it done. First of all, we have our former Executive Director of SBCAG, Jim Kemp, here. Thank you, Jim, for being here. You did a lot on this. Our current Executive Director, Margie Kern. Our Director of Project Delivery, Fred Luna. He is the man to ask questions about the project. Director of Programming, Sarkis Kacek. Sarkis, where are you? There we go. Go Golden State Warriors, right? Government Affairs Manager Lauren Bianchi-Clement. Thank you, Lauren. In the green. Community Outreach Consultants Kirsten and Toby Ayers. Where are they? There we go. And Corridor Consultant Tony Harris. And with the City of Carpinteria, this is a partnership. Dave Gerflinger and John Lawson in Public Works. Thank you, guys. I am pleased to say that with the completion of Highway 101 Carpinteria, we're 1/5 of the way to new carpool lanes all the way to Santa Barbara. The Summerlin segment is going to be completed by the end of the calendar year next year. Okay? And we are still looking for funding for that final segment. So you can always make sure that some of the people here know how critical that is. That's over $200 million more to go. But given the progress that we have made today, I am optimistic that we are going to be able to complete this project, and that not only this project, that we will be able to complete your project. Thank you so much.
Now it's time to cut the ribbon. So we're gonna follow her orders. Do what she tells us.
Wait, let's go. Wait a minute, the state. Wait, let's help the state.